I've
You're
lost.
in.
We are throwing you into the deep end
Day
here.
10.
Reinvent.
Let's do it.
Good morning, Philadelphia.
Woo!
Reinforce 2025. I am your one of many awesome hosts here at AWS OnAir, bringing you live action about security topics and really just peppering a bunch of awesome and smart people about new feature releases and announcements. And today we have the keynote of all amazing things
Exciting.
going on. This is my co-host, Penelope. And
Hey, Penelope.
to my right is my other co-hosts and hosts. Co-hoster is...
Co-hostress, that is me. Hi, everyone. My name is Fiona McCann. I am a solutions architect in the public sector of AWS. I work with nonprofit organizations, and I am very grateful to get to work here at Reinforce, get to talk to you all, answer your questions as you ask them of our security professionals who are going to be coming onto the show. But there are a couple other hosts down the line, so I'm going to pass it on over to Todd.
Hey everybody, I'm Todd Fortier. I'm a solutions architect and I help build solutions for the AWS Solutions Library. If you haven't seen that, go check that out today. But I'm also a former recovering solutions or software developer. I've been telling AM I still dabble.
Dabble a little
Yeah.
here
Not
and
as
there.
much. But today I'm here to learn about security as much as I can. This is my first Reinforce, so I'm really excited to be here with AM. Hey,
Todd, we were here this whole time. They panned down and we were here.
I've been here the whole time. I actually slept
Turns
here
out
last
you guys
night.
were actually sitting there.
I didn't know that. I just woke up. I'm here. Hi, I'm Am Grabelny. They powered me on. I'm ready to talk to you. It's weird to wake up right next to all you amazing people. We're going to be covering all kinds of wonderful security things today, and wonderful AWS things, and wonderful AWS security things as well.
Yeah,
I would say
because
so.
security is a top priority.
That's right. I'm Am Grabelny, one of your hosts. I'm a developer advocate. I work on the game day team. You might be seeing a game day a little bit later.
Who's
Could
game day
be.
today? On
Yeah.
security?
You just have
They
to watch.
will-
You have to
Just
watch.
No answer is given right now.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Tune in.
That's right.
What else we got today, Am?
We got a whole list of stuff that I'm looking at right now. We've got an AWS Hero segment later with Danielle Heberling, one of my favorite AWS heroes. I've known Danielle for quite a while. You'll get to see her hang out with everybody's favorite Gunnar Grosh. Gotta drop Gunnar
Everyone's
Grosh's name. He's
Can you pick that up before someone trips over it, please? That'd be great.
he's just kind of like my best friend.
He is. He
But
is.
I'm not his best friend. Like
No,
he
no,
wants
no,
me
of
to
course not.
clarify that every time. I'm his best friend.
Okay.
I will force
not-
my
Does
Does that
friendship
happen a lot
onto
to you,
you.
AM?
It does. It does. Yeah.
We also have the keynote today at 10 o'clock. Amy Herzog, our CISO. We were talking earlier, is it CISO or CISO?
It's kind of like tomato.
Tomato. Our CISO of AWS will give the keynote. What were you going to say?
We should find out in the chat. If you're up early, maybe
Good
you're
question.
East Coast, and you're in the chat, say hi. We want to say hello.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Is it CISO or
CISO.
I've also heard it pronounced CISO.
There is a right way.
Kiss
Just
No,
so
that's not
everybody
right.
knows. There is a
CISO.
correct way.
It's a hard
And
C.
what is it then?
And it's CISO. So
Oh, it's
we can
CISO.
move on. But I guess chat can tell us.
That's what I was hoping.
How wrong we
Give
are.
us the answer,
Or
please.
right we are. Right. Correct.
Exactly.
So we're going to hear from Amy.
We're going to hear
And
from
we've
you.
got sessions all day.
Absolutely.
We have experts coming on the show. We're going to interview and ask them what's new with security at AWS.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Kyle, I imagine you've been here before. What are some of the things you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to. There's actually a lot I'm looking forward to. So we're going to be talking to the Security Incident Response Service team. We're going to be talking to a security executive. I'm not going to name drop it yet, but
Who's it going to be?
oh, I
Tune
just
in
got
to see.
chills. See, I got
Just
goosebumps.
thinking about it.
We're going to be talking to the Active Defense team here at AWS. We're going to be just a lot of awesome material throughout the day.
We're going to be talking. That's the
Yes.
important thing.
That's what
and
we
we're going
do.
to be talking
Chit-chatting all day.
with you. So
With
we'll be
you,
asking
the
questions,
viewer.
but we want you to ask questions too. Unfortunately, our time for the intro is over.
Uh-oh.
So we got to get into the content. You stay right there. We'll stay right here. And we'll
No,
see you there.
you're going to get out.
Oh, I'll
I got to go.
Stay tuned.
The future for racing is within software, is within data, is within AI.
We put the technology to the extreme.
We are racing already for a very long time. That means we have a lot of historical data. And this gives us the benefit by using and learning this kind of data for new developments we are doing.
There's huge amount of data every time we race.
And we need to find very clever ways to actually select the information we really need. And here is actually where machine learning can help us by selecting the right points, because for us, everything is about data and large amounts of data.
In motorsports, it is all about performance gains, and aerodynamics play a major role. So, with the use of machine learning models in aerodynamics, we can create a specific flow pattern which can give a hint for the designers and for the engineers in which direction they can just build the model to create a better car that brings a better performance.
By using AI and machine learning for aerodynamics, for performance, and for other parts of the car, it helps us also to generate not only new methods and new algorithms, but it also helps us to train engineers with this very, very competitive environment and then bring them into the road car departments to build there the best cars possible for our customers. So one of the important things working with AWS is that we have one environment. So that means all the projects we are doing with AI and machine learning are running in AWS SageMaker. And this helps to speed up the process.
AWS is providing us platforms, infrastructures, in which we are able to be very efficient, reliable, and quick in data exchange, data compilation. So I think in our future goals to enhance the cooperation with AWS, to become more flexible, more sustainable, and to also create a higher level of efficiency. And we want to have as much as possible people able to access our data which they need for their work.
What I would like to see at the end is when people drive Toyota cars, there's some AI and machine learning within these cars which comes from racing, which shows the spirit we have in racing and brings that to the road.
And welcome back. You are here with us. We are live in Philadelphia. We're on the expo floor at Reinforce 2025, and you're here with us. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for getting ready for some pretty great segments. My name is Fiona McCann. I'm a solutions architect in the public sector at AWS. I work with nonprofits, and I also have the pleasure of working with Kyle. Kyle, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Kyle. I am a security specialist that focuses on threat detection and incident response. Boy, I'm needing to get that quick again. And today, we're bringing on a very special team that's near and dear to my heart, the Security Incident Response Service Team. Shannon, Robert.
Yes, sir.
Please introduce yourselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shannon Brazil. I'm an incident responder, actual regional manager for the Pacific side of the incident response team. And I'm joined with my practice manager.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Robert Saul. I'm the general manager for the AWS Security Incident Response Service. Kyle, Fiona, great to be here. Thanks for having us.
Now, Security Incident Response Service sounds like it's something that's just like, it is what's written on the tin. But can you explain more about what the Security Incident Response Service actually is? Because in the past, we've talked about the Customer Incident Response Team.
Yeah.
But now, as of reInvent of 2024, there's the Security Incident Response Team.
Well, so there's a Security Incident Response Service. The Security Incident Response Service helps customers detect, respond, and recover from security incidents that happen on the customer side of the shared responsibility model. We do that really in three ways. There's three foundations of the service. And the really cool thing about the service is that, we had 5.5 years of learnings through the customer incident response team, right? We kept on hearing three major themes from customers. Theme number one was alert fatigue, right? They were just getting overwhelmed with the quantity of alerts. There's a great study and a great paper released by IBM in 2024 that said SOCs were investigating 50% of the alerts that they were receiving.
It's not a good enough number.
No, it's not at all. Yeah,
No.
right. And so what was happening, what we were hearing from customers is that they were trying to sort through all of these unimportant alerts, and they were missing the important ones. So that's the first foundation of it. The second foundation of the service is we heard for a long time from customers that they were having a hard time communicating through a security incident. Who do we call? When do we call them? Where are the playbooks? Where are the mechanisms? Where are all these things? And then the third foundation is lack of people, right? So what we did with the service is we took those three learnings and we built them all into the service. So thing number one that the service does is auto triage of alerts. So the service ingests alerts through Security Hub, either guard duty or third-party alerts. We're able to triage them in an automated fashion, suppress the unimportant ones after we learn the environment, through the automation and tools, investigate the important ones, and then help the customers through the end of the investigation, containment mitigation, right? That's really important. It's a foundational part of the service.
Yeah, and I mean, even just in the last few months, the Security Incident Response Service team has been doing a lot of cool things and releasing a lot of new functionality within the service.
Oh, yeah.
But also, let's talk about like some of the security work that the Security Incident Response Service team has taken flight of that was just announced this week.
Oh my goodness, what an amazing week this has been. So there's been two big ones. The first one is on Saturday. We launched the Threat Technique Catalog.
Ooh, we actually launched it on Thursday.
Thursday, thank you.
Good thing we got that right.
Yeah. The Threat Technique Catalog. And this is really, this is born from a lot of years of really struggling with how do we communicate about security incidents? How do we communicate them clearly and crisply to customers so that they understand what's happening, what to do, and to move forward through the investigation.
So is this similar to, the name of the service itself being the thing on the tin, the catalog being, here's just a list of common threats that we're seeing, what you can expect from them?
Well, I can show you.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Actually.
Yeah, let's bring the screen on.
Look at that.
Bippity boppity screen
Show
share.
you.
Screen share.
Yeah. So
I'm assuming we're sharing the screen.
Are we?
I'll
I
put
hope
the right
so.
screen.
There we go.
There it is.
Okay, here we
Yeah,
go.
she got it.
Okay, so everyone's familiar with the MITRE ATT&CK framework. They have specific matrix on, and enterprise or business, but they also have Matrix for cloud and for on-prem. And if you go onto their Matrix, you will see something very similar to this, where they go through the entire kill chain of a threat matrix. So we're talking resource development, initial access, execution. So if you're familiar with threat intelligence, you understand the kill chain. It's a follow through of attack sequences in order to do X that you're trying to accomplish, whatever compromise that you're trying to accomplish.
And I think you're going to actually be showing us how to simulate a security event, and then also show what the experience of working with a security incident response service team member is like.
Absolutely.
So excited about this demo.
All right. You know what? Let's get into the demo. But first, if you know anything about Kyle, and when I do things, things typically go wrong. The things that I've done. We got to do the demo dance.
We do need to do the demo dance.
Yeah,
Very
I want to
important.
see this.
I want to see this live. Oh my goodness! I hope they just didn't like curse it badly. You know?
No. That's
Like
good.
this.
That's the good
That's the
demo.
good
Nine out of 10 times that the dance has been executed, the demo succeeds.
Love the
The
data.
one time we didn't do it, it went.
Those are some telling numbers.
Yeah,
it is.
All right, so let's simulate a security event. What kind of security event are you going to be simulating today?
Okay, so I've simulated. I already did this because
It's a baking show.
I did the simulation because I wanted to make sure that we created an environment that would actually trigger or invoke a guard duty finding.
Okay.
Right, and guard duty findings can take up to 5 minutes to come in. So I wanted to make sure that we actually had one.
We're not making you wait 5 minutes.
No. I only have 7 minutes. So, but what we also wanted to do was make sure that we show you a very specific thing about the security incident response. So, if you've never turned on this service, you're going to see a start service or a get started here. But we have, this account has the service already. So we're going to go into the dashboard. And when you're using AWS organizations, you have several accounts that will be rolled up into that membership.
Right.
And so when you have an account that has that membership, you'll see on the dashboard an activation status as well as your membership ID, your membership account, etc. And you'll know exactly which account is supposed to have that membership and who is able to create a case. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen just for a moment.
All right, let's bring it down.
No
Secret
screen.
sauce is coming down.
Because I want to switch into an account that has the service. Give me 2 seconds. And
So
I will
now we're
do
doing the
that.
baking show. We set up the situation.
Here's
we put it in the oven.
Here's the cake batter.
The cake is now done.
Ta-da!
Well, almost. Give me maybe half a second more to get to
we
the
can
right
give you
account.
that half
Yeah,
second.
we could give you a second. We could give you 10.
Do you want 3 seconds?
How about 14?
All right.
Are we good to bring the screen back
Yeah,
on?
let's do it.
Let's
Okay,
do it.
so
Roll it.
this is my organization, okay? This is my management account. This is the only account that I am capable of opening up a case because that's the way the permissions that I set up for my account.
Okay.
And it sounds like it's configurable based on your different access requirements.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. You can bring in different teams with different sorts of permissions.
And Shannon, I have a quick question for you. User 9529 says, "Hello, is this podcast live or pre-recorded?"
This is totally live.
This is totally
This
live.
is super
User
live.
9529.
This is
We're gonna
super
break
live.
something, I'm sure.
Yeah, actually, we're going to page my team today, and I hope they're ready. So we're gonna go into cases.
We did warn the EMEA watch. Right?
Okay.
We did.
Okay,
So,
Are they ready
Good.
for this?
So there's 2 different types of cases that you can do. The first one is a self-managed case where you can do your own investigation, and if you do that, there will be a button in there that will tell you if you want to get help from AWS, you can, and it'll immediately page our team. But right now, we're actually going to go in and page a team. We're going to do an active security. We're going to pre-fill this account. We'll just do this guy.
Hold on.
This is a random number, FYI. So,
Jumbledy.
Oh, not as. That's why. You know what?
There you go.
We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Adding that
11,
account
12.
ID in. Okay, perfect.
Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say I have EC2
It's happened. It's happened.
that were created in EU Central.
Okay.
I don't own these. Help.
Yeah.
Okay. These are optional. You can dive in a little bit more. You
Okay.
can add watchers, so you can add your compliance team. You can add your legal team. You can
So
add your security
these are people
team.
that you'd want to keep in the loop. And
These are people that, so this is the collaboration that Robert was talking about, right? So how do you collaborate as a team where you can share all this information
Right.
in one spot? You know?
Now I know what you've done to help. I know
Yeah.
what needs to be done.
So we're going to create the case. Oh, this is going to be, okay. 1 second. Let me just grab this guy, actually.
demo,
that guy.
demo dance.
It's probably going
Click
to...
that on in.
You guys
Boom.
whammied it. Oh, no, here it goes. Good.
It's because we didn't dance.
Again. You had to dance again.
I
All right.
danced.
Well, actually,
You
I
two
danced.
did.
Oh, there it is.
So my team has been paged, okay? Literally
Surprised Robert's phone's
just
not going.
now.
It
Yeah.
is actually. It's on.
Ding, ding, ding. So,
Oh, look at that. I see the ticket.
so it's been submitted. It's been submitted. He can see the ticket.
Okay.
We're going to give the team technically has an SLA of 15 minutes, but they're, as an incident responder
Get on
on the
it.
team, we
Pride
will be
yourselves
there
in
within
a-
2 minutes. Like, give us like 2 minutes and we will be there with you.
I'll be there for you.
Let's refresh, see what's happening here. It has been submitted. You can also see the status
Alright,
of the
okay.
tickets right here.
And that also is following the incident response life cycle on the right-hand side, too.
Yes,
So
it does.
Oh,
So-
yeah, look at that.
Yeah, detection analysis, containment, eradication, post-incident. Yeah, so we've got about 2 minutes left for the demo.
Let's get those
But you know
team
what,
members
we-
responding.
Acknowledge. There you go. So they've acknowledged it. So someone has been assigned the case. They will. There you go. So we already have somebody who
Wow.
has responded.
That was what, a minute? That
We're
was really
investigating
fast.
activity.
I think that one of the key things is when we think about the mix of the technology and the people. That I mean, that's technology-led, people-powered, and that's the beautiful thing of a service that we're
Yeah.
able to give to customers. Right? You're always going to have that person on that back end. That if
Right.
at the end of the day you need a human voice, you're going to get a human voice.
Yeah, and you
Absolutely.
also have the ability to join a Zoom call as well. So what we want to do is provide you with the ability to connect with a security incident responder immediately if you need it. So depending on, if this is something that I absolutely need to talk to somebody about,
Right.
we've, in the sample comment here, we will provide you a Zoom meeting link, as you can see right down
And
here.
I mean, on a human level, an experience like this can be scary and can be overwhelming when you have an incident like this.
Oh,
So
my
being
goodness.
Yeah,
able
absolutely.
to voice those concerns and, ask all those questions as they come to your mind to a human is pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's so much more to dive into, and that's why we're going to be making more of this. But
Absolutely.
if you could say one thing, 10 seconds, what would it be about the security incident response service?
We're here to help. We want to help. We're staffed. We're trained. We're ready.
We're staffed, we're trained, we're ready.
How's that?
Love that.
That sounds great. I mean, clear, concise.
There it is. Crisp.
Crisp.
Get to it.
It's awesome.
All right. Well, if you want to learn more about the security incident response service, click the links below that we're including in the chat, I'm assuming.
Link.
You get a link. You get a link.
Everyone gets a link.
Everyone gets a link. Hey, stay tuned because we got some more awesome security content coming to you live at Reinforce 2025 in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Yes.
My name is Olympia Otieno, and I'm a computer science student at JKUAT in Nairobi, Kenya. I would like to use artificial intelligence to improve the living standards of Kenyans.
Hi, Olympia. My name is Ria Chervu. I'm an AI ethics lead architect at Intel Corporation, and I'm so excited to have this conversation with you.
Hi, nice to meet you. I was so excited when I heard I was going to have this call. I was like, this is the perfect person to ask for advice and guidance. And so I'm so excited to hear what you have to say.
Absolutely. Yes. And I would love to learn more about your background and some of the motivating factors behind why you wanted to choose data science. It's such a huge field. So what are you planning to do with data science? How are you planning to push push the state of the art forward.
So how I'm planning on using my knowledge is through helping out with development issues. I'm from Kenya. I love my country, but I think we can be better in terms of the way we tackle challenges. After finishing the program, I decided to come up with a project that helps farmers detect crop diseases and increase revenue because of increased yield. And so I'm very proud of this project because I think it's a beginning, because everything starts small, and I hope to be able to create more projects that have an impact on my country.
Crop disease identification and just monitoring the nature of crops is such a fascinating topic. So it's really exciting to hear that you're working on an application for that. I work in computer vision as well. It's a beautiful domain to work in, but it can be challenging.
I just wanted to know, how do you balance your work life and personal life?
So I think work-life balance I am trying to find as an architect is challenging, especially in the AI space, but building that team around you, engineers who are very enthusiastic to build the same technologies as you, they're able to shoulder the work and we're able to, compensate and help out each other. That is the greatest strength.
I hope that I will reach your level because you're an inspiration, honestly.
Oh no, thank you, Olympian. I think you're on the right path. Again, we are on the same path. So it's just a continuous learning process, to use computer vision for the greater good.
I'm actually so proud of myself, honestly. The fact that I've come this far, graduated from the AI and ML scholarship, it's been an amazing experience, and I can't wait to see where I will be at 5 years from now.
Oh, I love that. With this very strong foundation, it will only take you further.
Kyle.
Hi, I'm Aaron. I'm going to kick off this segment about security certification and what's coming in the realm of security. Welcome back. Joining us live at Reinforce 2025 in Philadelphia. I'm your host, Kyle, security person. This is Aaron, who just likes to apparently mess with Kyle these days.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Aaron Hunter. I'm a principal developer advocate with the AWS Training Certification Team. And today, we're going to talk about how to prepare for the AWS Security Specialty Exam in under 20 minutes. But we also have Shannon.
Hi, everyone. I'm an incident responder with the customer incident response team at AWS. And I've done this several times with Aaron.
Yeah.
We did a show, actually,
When I say power,
year?
you say
Last-
hour.
Last year?
Power.
Power.
But
Power. It was
wait, hold on,
Power
wait.
Hour.
I see. Is that Hart? Hart! Our VP of
Our
Security
VP of
Infrastructure.
Security.
Hart, do you want to join
Have
us?
a
Sit down.
seat.
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence.
Everybody, what are y'all doing here?
Oh, just,
Talking
bringing
about-
the why to the party.
Right on, right on.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Yeah? So what brings you into the realm of Reinforce in the expo floor?
Well, security is really everybody's
Let's go and bring your
responsibility. We gotta
microphone
flip
right
it.
here. Yep, there we go.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Technology.
There we go.
There we go.
Technology.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Hart Rossman is the VP of Security Infrastructure here at AWS. And Hart, what brings you here today?
Well, security is everybody's responsibility.
Yes.
And in this day and age, we build with security as a top priority. And everybody has an opportunity to learn how to do security better, to help raise the bar for their organization and their customers.
Absolutely. And with certifications, there's like a lot of value add for like career growth and let's say even maybe increase in salary. Depends on what the employee and employer negotiations are there.
Absolutely. One of the things that we've seen consistently actually for years now is that, well-qualified, experienced security professionals really have unbounded opportunity in the marketplace, right? They've got the ability to work across any industry and to rise, from a junior and an intern position all the way up to a senior executive.
Absolutely. And with the certification also, something that I see across every single certification is security.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Now-
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
with the security specialty certification, I've always heard of the different philosophies of, what about certifications? Do they really matter? And I think it really, one, it provides that baseline of knowledge, but it also provides you an opportunity to learn more. Like, I just went through the Solution Architect Professional exam, and I was like, I thought I knew everything, as much as I wish I could say I know everything, but I learned so much more beyond the scope of what I do on a day-to-day basis. to where it's almost like now a fun challenge. It's an addicting challenge to like start getting more certifications to drive that learning. But then also, like it's a tangible. It shows I put in all this hard work. I have this knowledge and I've demonstrated it. So what can I do now to contribute to the community as a whole with this newfound knowledge that I have?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I find that also when you're doing these certifications, you get inspiration from them. There are several times where I've been working on a project with my team, and because I'm also studying at the same time, I'll go through the certification and I'll be like, I totally forgot about this service. I totally forgot about this integration or this feature. I'm going to use that. I'm going to leverage it. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think more than ever, what is important is the different modalities of learning. You know, you have those that can be classroom learners. You could have those that they could watch a video and then just like have the concept. And then you have those that are like hands-on, give me a wrench and a bunch of tools and instructions, and then that's how I'm going to retain that information.
Speaking of hands-on, we're going to do AWS Simulearn here in just a few minutes, but I have a question for Hart.
Yes.
So I have a favorite service. I know Kyle has a favorite service, and Shannon has a favorite service, but what is your favorite AWS security service?
Wow, you know, I got to tell you, it gets harder and harder every year as we launch more and more services and features. I have to admit, I'm very excited about the AWS Security Incident Response Service we launched very recently at reInvent in 2024. Customers really appreciate the value we provide there and the expert service we provide both in the technology and the people. I also have to tell you, though, I've been spending a ton of time lately in Q and Bedrock.
Yes.
And as somebody who is technical but doesn't always have the opportunity to be hands-on keyboard,
yes,
it makes it super easy to be a builder again.
The vibe coding, I think is what I've heard.
Yeah, that's what
I bring the vibes.
The kids say these days.
Absolutely.
Well, Hart, I know you're busy. You have a lot going on today. Do you have time for a few more minutes here?
Yeah, definitely hang out. I'm actually super curious. Shannon, what's your answer to that question? What's your favorite security service these days?
Oh, gosh. I'd feel bad if I didn't say it was my own service, but I'm so impressed with GuardDuty.
Oh, yeah.
I'm always impressed with GuardDuty and what they're constantly launching, what they're constantly striving for threat detection.
Yes.
They've got so many incredible features on there, and I cannot stop talking about it.
I like to think of GuardDuty as a guard dog.
Oh, that's a
it's
good
the
one.
guard dog of our services and our applications and our environments. Kyle rolled his eyes. Kyle, what's your favorite service?
Well, I mean, of course, the security incident response service, but I lean towards the detective services for our customers to use, like Inspector, GuardDuty, guard dog Aaron. But really looking at actually any security service that allows a customer to operate with confidence in a secure manner quickly, so they can start building the cool stuff and have the heavy lifting of doing the security thing in a secure way just kind of lifted off their shoulders is fine in my book.
Yeah. Well, I won't say my favorite service because, well, I will. So my favorite service is Amazon S3, but that's only because it's secure by default and you can store your objects, your videos, your images, everything for your websites. But I was at an AWS community mixer last night talking to AWS heroes and community builders, and they all told me, a lot of them told me that their favorite service is Amazon Inspector.
Really?
Which is exciting because Amazon Inspector is dropping some new features today, so I'm excited to announce those in about an hour here. So.
Oh, that's so exciting. So you guys better tune in for that.
Yeah.
I'm going to tune in for that because I want to know.
I want to know.
Well, it's the Supercharger container security, and we're going to talk all about Amazon Inspector there too.
You know, and I think we've talked about, you know, what we love about security and the certifications, but for those that want to prepare for the security specialty certification, this is something that's near and dear to my heart because we have done a lot of content around security power hours over the last 2 years.
You have.
But now, Aaron, what is new in the realm of the security specialty
Well, first, I got to say thank you to Hart because I know Hart has to jump over to the security live stage here pretty soon. So, Hart, thank you so much for swinging by and jumping on.
Cool. Thanks for being an awesome partner, getting the education out there. You know, between the security specialty and then the newly announced security champions, skill builder program, it's just a phenomenal opportunity to level up as really anybody who wants to do computing in the cloud.
You can get a badge for it too for Credly, so you can show it on their LinkedIn. Yeah,
super cool. All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you, Hart, so much.
Hart.
Bye.
So now the security specialty certification
let's go ahead and pull my screen up.
The many of the specialty certifications we have. We also have, DevOps and then databases,
administration,
and networking,
Yeah.
but specialty for security. I mean, I'm biased. We're at Reinforce, so let's get into it.
Yep. So here we see.
Let's bring up the screen.
Let's bring up the screen.
Bippity boppity.
All right. So the AWS Certified Security Specialty Certification is one of several certifications that we have, but this one is specifically focused on just security, even though all the other certifications have a domain or an area that's focusing on security. So Shannon, real quick, if you can maybe walk us through like this 4-step plan, and I'll go ahead and get that over here.
Sweet.
Wait, hold on. How to get to the 4-step plan? Oh, it's on the page. Duh. So right here under this first step, 4-step plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's do it. So let's open that up.
Let me see your 4-step plan.
Let me see your 4-step plan.
4-step plan.
4-step plan. Okay. Oh, this actually isn't the 4-step plan. Looks like it's maybe just the security specialty information, all the details about the certification here. All right.
I like it.
So I see that we have certification exam prep. We have builder labs focusing on just the security specialty.
And you can see that you also have specific domains as well. So
Amazing.
So if you've taken your specialty and you didn't pass, which is totally fine, you will be told where you need to focus. And this is a really good opportunity for you to focus on specific domains that you might not be too comfortable with, or you need some little bit more practice, and that's okay. So we split it up into specific preparation, so domains and specific labs for those domains as well.
Yeah.
So
if I go to the second page here, what else do we see? We see domain 4, like you said, these different domains, and then even domain 6. There's so many domains.
And then we also have an exam prep summary as well.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay. And then I see that we have the option to download the exam guide.
I would 100% do that. I totally recommend going through the exam guide. It's almost like your own little cheat sheet, but also you're like, it helps you understand what to expect. And that's kind of, it's such a cool tool to have when you know what to expect, when you know what to do when taking an exam. I'm terrible at exams. I get exam anxiety. So this really helps me, kind of like a checklist of going down through the exam guide and just understanding what do I absolutely need to understand in order to pass this exam.
You know, the other bit about these is it's also putting it into just plain words as to like what is it that you're going to understand and know once you achieve this certification as well. So it's like, you know, when my mom asks, Kyle, what is it you say you do at work? And it's like, well, here's, you know.
Read the exam guide, Mom.
Read the exam guide. Take the certification. Can you imagine if I got my mom to take the
Wait, hold on. Is
cert?
it RTFG? Read the freaking guide?
Yes.
Okay. RTEG. Read the exam guide.
Read the exam guide.
Okay, got it. Now, with that exam guide, like I said, or like you said, it's all broken down by domains. We can see the trainings here, but looking at this 4-step plan that we're going through, when you click on that link on the main landing page, this is directly within Skill Builder training. And what I like about that is there's a lot of different options. Like, let me go over to this other page. How many pages do I have open?
Yeah, and then we actually have a question in the chat. Can anyone complete this AWS Security certification?
I think it's possible for anyone to complete it. You just need the right skills and knowledge. And if you don't have those skills yet, then you can use Skill Builder or even CloudQuest, for example.
Yeah. Yep. What is CloudQuest?
What is CloudQuest? Well, it's a quest in the clouds.
I hate.
No, it's a game-based learning experience. That way you can actually get some hands-on experience and go through this virtual environment. There's a giraffe running around. There's a gorilla running around. But besides like all the fun there, you really get these solutions or these assignments that you get to practice. And if you don't have that hands-on experience, the cool thing about CloudQuest is, yes, you do require a Skill Builder subscription, but you have an account that you can actually jump into. Now, on top of CloudQuest,
an AWS account that you could jump into.
It's not their account. We provision it for them, so that way it's very little risk. They don't have to worry about like the right permission. Cost is a big one, yeah. But on top of that, there's Simulearn.
Okay.
This is like.
This is new.
This is like CloudQuest and like a level up. This is like. This is pretty cool. Yeah,
I'm on a new level. Okay, so this is CloudQuest, Simulearn.
Yeah.
Sorry, I totally interrupted with song.
I want to dive into this.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so Simulearn right here. Shannon, do you know about Simulearn already?
I've played around with Simulearn a little bit. It's almost like so when you're in Simulearn, instead of running around in a city with CloudQuest,
yes,
you have a real world or close to real world simulation. You're talking to certain personas, you're having conversations, you're deciding on the type of solution that you want to implement. And you also have an AI assistant as well that you can ask questions to get maybe more details or ask them about specific services that could help you in this situation. And you're building out a solution.
Yeah.
It's the coolest thing. So I'm terrible at architecture.
Okay.
But this really helped me build out my idea that I'm doing with my team, and it helped me get more comfortable with how services are integrated together and some things that I didn't think about.
Yeah. And so you and Kyle both work with customers, just like a lot of our employees do, and even the people across the world here watching us live. When you're working with customers, you're having these conversations, and you're trying to figure out what is the use case, what services might be good, and that's what Simulearn really tries to. Let's go ahead and jump into Simulearn here. Securing APIs. I'm going to go ahead and resume, and boom, there we go. So with Simulearn, there's two different modes. There's scripted mode. So in case you need some more guidance, it tells you exactly what the customer's use case is, what the recommendation is, or you can go with open dialogue. So
yeah, that's
Kyle,
more of a challenge, that one.
It is more of a challenge. Now, Kyle, here, let's say you're John Doe. So you would say, hello, I'm happy to have you, I can't read.
Hello, I am so happy that you have come to help. My team is busy developing prototype application that we want to demo soon. However, our new compliance officer found some security issues. Can you suggest a solution for us?
Thank you for reading, because I can't. So then I'll say, sure, I'm happy to help. What's the issues? And we'll hit send. Now, this is scripted mode. So the customer, John Doe in this case, is the customer, and they're saying, hey, this is the problem, this is the challenge, this is what we're trying to do, and then us, as the security experts, are trying to understand what the issues are and then provide these recommendations.
See, and I think this is really cool because it's taking practical application and then applying your learning to a different scenario instead of just consuming all of the acronyms and what each service does. It's okay, how do you actually apply this to a real world scenario?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like going through so if you go through some of the prep exam questions, right? These are the type of scenarios that you might see. And then this is how you would do it instead of just vocalizing and trying to figure out mentally how it's supposed to be done. This actually gets you doing the thing.
Absolutely. Now let's level up a bit here and say this is scripted dialogue, but we want to go ahead and go over to open dialogue and actually type some stuff and understand what's happening and really evaluate. Well, I got to accept these terms and conditions here, so accept and really evaluate what is it that we're doing. It's all generative AI based, and that way let's zoom in a bit. Hi there, welcome. I heard you are an AWS specialist. Could you please help me determine the best use cases the best services for my company's needs? And I asked, what are your company's needs? And here it's evaluating the responses to figure out what kind of communication skills, customer focus, problem solving skills, and so forth. So we're trying to figure out what this problem is and what the right services might be to fit within this architecture diagram.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that is.
See the architecture diagram. These are things that
This is next level.
It's yeah.
Shannon even has a sticker that says "level up" on her laptop.
I do.
Nice.
I do. It's right here.
Amazing. Love it.
What I'm really appreciating about this is you're bringing in the real world applications, but also hey, are you communicating effectively about these different types of solutions?
Yeah, exactly. And we can go ahead and skip the meeting here just to take a look at what that looks like.
Oh, real world examples.
Real world examples, I know. Now here we can go ahead and just continue through, and here's that architecture diagram that we were looking at. But what if I still don't understand what one of these services are? Because you can use Amazon Cognito user pools. Well, we can go to the assistant here, and then we can ask, hey, what's the purpose of using Amazon Cognito user pools? And it'll spit out the response using generative AI. So pretty powerful.
That is really awesome. So where can folks go to learn more about Simulearn and the security specialist. Hey, look at that dude.
Yeah. So
look at the dude.
I got one more thing for you here. So if you want to learn more, if you want to see Shannon and Kyle alongside their friend Irio, you can watch AWS Power Hour on Twitch. We'll have a link in the chat. But essentially, you want to go to the main landing page here for the security specialty certification, and then jump directly into that 4-step plan. Check out CloudQuest and Simulearn directly in Skill Builder, and stay tuned for more from OnAir.
Well, thank you, Aaron. Take it easy. See you in a bit. Stay tuned. Reinforce 2025, Philadelphia.
Hey everybody, welcome back to AWS On Air. I am Todd Fortier, I'm one of your hosts, and I'm joined by my good friend Gunnar Grosch, who is joining us for live here at the Reinforce 2025. And this is a recorded content, but if you're in the chat, we want to hear from you still. So keep the questions going. We're going to be answering them live from Philadelphia. But Gunnar, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Todd. Great to be here.
Thanks. So we're going to be talking about some security pipelines. We're going to be getting into it real quickly. But before we do that, why don't we have you introduce yourself and what do you do here at AWS?
Yes. So as you said, my name is Gunnar Grosch. I am a developer advocate at AWS. I'm part of developer relations or developer experience. And what I do is I get to go around and talk to developers and basically see what they're doing, how they're doing it, and hopefully be able to inspire them a bit about the art of the possible with AWS and bring a lot of stuff back into our service teams and hopefully then improve.
Like that. So you advocate on behalf of the developer, make sure that AWS is working on the right things. What do our customers want? We always work backwards from customers here at AWS. And so that's your role, is to go out there and engage that community. I mean, it's really all of our roles. We're all kind of talking to builders at some point in our careers, but you're specifically doing that. So how does that apply to what we're going to be talking about today?
Well, today we're going to be talking about pipelines, and from a security perspective, because every developer out there, they want to build stuff and they want to push it out to production so that their customers can start using it. But we're kind of sometimes not super eager to talk about security as developers, but I think we should. So we're going to look at how we can perhaps bring security up as that most important part of what we're actually doing as developers.
Yeah, Gunnar, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there for me. I was a developer for 12 years before I started my tenure here at AWS.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you, security is one of those things where it's like, I knew it was necessary to get to production, but it wasn't always my first thought. But it is here at AWS. We say security is job zero. But so anything you have to make that easier for us developers and builders on the AWS would be great. So I understand you got a demo. Should we bring up your screen and start walking through what we mean by pipelines?
Let's bring it up straight away. So this is one of our tools in the code suite, and this is a code pipeline. So what we're seeing on the screen right now is a delivery pipeline. Basically, what takes over when you as a developer push something into a Git repository. So it's a fairly simple pipeline, but we've added some cool stuff into it to see how we can perhaps make things more secure before we push it out to production. So what we got is our source stage. That's where we're fetching something from, in this case, GitHub, our Git repository. Then we have a couple of stages that are focused on security. We'll get into those in just a bit. Then we have the build stage, where we're taking whatever code we've pushed into production to build that, make it ready to actually then deliver into our different environments. And we have it in two different stages for this one. We have a beta stage, but that could be a dev, it could be a staging, it could be a gamma, whatever you call it. And many companies have lots of different stages. In this case, we have a beta one, which is where we perhaps testing stuff out before we actually push it into the last stage, which is our prod stage, where we then get it out to our customers.
Okay. So I think I got you here. Let me catch up to speed here. We are logged into the AWS console. we've navigated to a service called Code Pipeline. And here at AWS, that is how we do DevOps around here. If you've ever done DevOps on AWS, I'm sure you're familiar with Code Pipeline. And we're going to pass the code that our team went on and developed. We're going to pass it through a series of steps before we can get to production. And one of those steps, presumably, is going to be security. So, okay, I think I'm caught up. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's a great summary. So, right now I pushed some code through it just to see that it works, and everything is green, which is great. That's usually a good sign. So right now it's ready to go into production as well. We've actually have a manual approval step towards the end, so let me just approve that. So whatever code I pushed earlier, well, that is now going into production. So congratulations to our customers, I guess, in this case. So
nice, a very clean pipeline you got there.
It's super clean, yeah.
Nice.
So I want to show you these different stages then. So this one, that's called static security. That is a stage where we're using another of our code services, in this case, Code Build. Code Build is a service that the name suggests it's meant for building. So it's actually spinning up containers for you, and then those containers will run commands. It could be, for instance, preparing a container image, or it could be other stuff. But Code Build has become a tool that we're using for other things as well. Like I said, it can run commands, so we can do a lot of cool stuff with Code Build. So what I'm doing with it here is doing a bunch of static security checks. So there are a lot of different things we can do to make sure that our code is secure. So what I've done is created a list of different commands that we're running. And that could be everything from linting to then doing checks towards these different types of static security checkers that are out there. Another common one is obviously when it comes to security and vulnerabilities, it is that we're using libraries, third-party libraries that aren't very secure. So in this stage, we're also doing what's called I'm using JavaScript in this case, Node.js. So I'm using NPM as my package manager. Then I can do an NPM audit in this stage to make sure or check if there are any vulnerabilities in the packages that I'm using. So Code Build in this case are running the different commands that I'm telling it to do. ESLint, for instance, in this case, checking for errors in my code. We're also doing, here we go, an NPM audit, and then get a bunch of results back. And it's common that we get a bunch of results, things that are perhaps not secure, but then it obviously comes down to how critical is this? Is it something that's of low criticality or higher than that?
And then this is really important. This is a really important thing. It's a really cool thing. Like Code Build, we can provide it a build spec. We can go and download prerequisites, maybe dependencies that we're going to need in order to build the project. Yep. And then within that, we can issue commands to say, hey, before you publish any artifacts to any S3 bucket and anywhere, before you're done, run through these series of checks. And I think that dependency analysis is really important because, as we know, at least before we're using open source tooling, not only do we have our direct dependencies, but those dependencies can have dependencies. And so there's this really complex graph that ends up being developed, a dependency graph that ends up occurring. And we want to make sure not just our code is secure, but every single thing in that graph is not saying, hey, you need to look out for something here. It's been exposed at this lower level of the graph. And so exactly. Really cool, kind of cool to automate that as a part of my pipeline.
Yeah, and exactly like you say, if I'm using a package, I'm sure there's going to be 3 or 4 or 10 or 20 downstream packages as well that's used for that. And keeping track of that by yourself, well, that's kind of impossible.
Yeah, it gets hairy pretty quickly.
Then once we have done all of these checks, we can add as many as we want, of course. Then we can get all of these findings. And what I'm doing next then is sending all of these to another AWS service that's called AWS Security Hub. So let me open up Security Hub. And there we go. Let's see if Security Hub is with us.
Yeah, usually we get some suggestions here, but it looks like this is a live demo. That's how we do these shows. We do live demos, so when stuff doesn't work, you get to see that in action. But just maybe a simple page refresh solve our problem here.
Yeah, seems like. All right, so what we do then is gather all of those results, and then we send them to Security Hub. And Security Hub is, as the name suggests, it's a hub, a center for everything security related at AWS. So in this, we have a section for findings, and this is where we send our different findings. So let me just remove some filters, and then we can see that these are findings that we've created and pushed into Security Hub. So these are now the latest ones. Here we go. 8 minutes ago.
Okay, so Code Build did the work, but then it pushed its findings into Security Hub. And Security Hub is nice because it can consolidate from a number of AWS services to make sure that we're kind of seeing everything in a single pane here.
Exactly. So
Nice.
we can then list them based on severity, and obviously we can see where they're coming from. In this case, it's from a container scan, but also from Code Build a bit further down, I'm sure. So that's what we're doing in that first stage. And if we then want to automate this completely, we will make sure that if there are things of a certain severity level, that could be maybe 10 high, or it could be 1 critical, then we just abort the pipeline at that stage. Because we don't want something to go into production, obviously, if it has some sort of security vulnerability. So part of that script for Code Build, in this case, would then check and count the number of errors that we find or findings, and then abort the pipeline if needed.
Yeah, certainly automating in Code Build and DevOps is all about this automating so that I don't have to. But I've certainly had my fair share of horror stories when getting to production, especially if I had to manually do that. And I kind of want to hear from our audience. What kind of DevOps horror stories can you share with us? Or what is something that you had to automate within Code Build or any other DevOps pipeline? And I think that'd be really cool to share those stories. So if you're paying attention or listening, drop that comment in the chat, and I'd love to hear from you. But go ahead, Gunnar.
Yeah, so that's our first stage there, so a static check. And those are fairly simple checks to do, but we want to fail fast, just like with everything else. So that's why we have that as our first stage. It's taking the source code, running through these checks. If there are critical things, we can fail the pipeline straight away. If it doesn't, well, then we pass on to the next stage. And there we're using another service called Amazon Code Guru. Amazon Code Guru is a service that's making use of a bunch of different techniques to then validate our code. And Code Guru has a new feature in preview that's called Amazon Code Guru Security. So previously we've used what's called Reviewer and Profiler. That's been more focused on the kind of how you write your code, making sure that code is efficient, that it's running in ways that are as good as possible, basically, focusing on performance and similarly. But the new feature within security, well, that is all about security, and that's really what we want in this case. So in the same way as previously, we are then setting up a stage, we're using Code Build again, and then we are using the CLI to call Code Guru in this case. So we are taking that source code, sending it away to Code Guru, so it will then scan through for security issues. And in the same way as previously, it will then send us a report back with findings. So Code Guru in this case makes use of known vulnerabilities, but it's also using machine learning, or even, I guess, generative AI in this case, to check the code for any type of vulnerabilities, which is a bit more advanced type of check compared to just those static checks that we did before.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I like that idea of failing fast. In fact, that's what they called me in college, Todd Fail Fast Fortier. I'm always trying to break it and move fast and get onto that next thing, and then figure out what went wrong and make sure I have a stable pipeline. So this is a really cool way to do that. And Code Guru is a really awesome service using machine learning that says, that looked back at history of all the code that's been not all the code, but uses code
Lots
and
of code.
patterns that it finds in machine learning, and now we have this added component of generative AI to give us that little nudge, and even to a more secure and more resilient kind of code base, which I think is like amazing that this magic just sort of happens. I'm old enough to remember like all these things that we had to do before, and now it just kind of like magically occurs through some CLI somewhere. Probably would be an MCP server after this too, but
Sure.
anyways, Gunnar, that's a different episode of the show. But Gunnar, so we've sent it off to Code Guru, and it's done some analysis. What's next there?
Yeah, so then once Code Guru is done, and this isn't a long process. It obviously depends on the amount of code that you're sending to it, but we're talking maybe a minute or 2 or 3 before you have the findings back, depending on the size of your source code. But then you get findings back like this. And in this case, we can see that we have actually some high and some critical and some medium findings, which means that the code that we sent there, well, it's probably not code that we want to send further along because it has a critical flaw. So in this case, well, we would activate that feature to be able to just fail the pipeline at this point when we got that finding. And then the developer gets a notification back that the pipeline failed, and then you can look into what is this issue. The CWE94 unsanitized input is run as code. Doesn't sound great, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, sanitary code only, please. So, Gunnar, I have a question for you. So, do these results from Code Guru also get pushed to Security Hub?
Yes, they do. So, we send them to Code Guru as well. So they also show up in Security Hub. I mean, so they show up as findings there as well. So we gather all of these findings, no matter where we're doing them, in that same way.
Okay, cool. So we want to make sure we're failing our pipeline if there are insecure code getting through our pipeline before we go to production. So that's like, in my head, that's the big headline here. We don't want to release unsecure code into production. And so these services and these steps along our pipeline are going to help us make sure that we don't do that.
Exactly.
Nice.
And then we have the next step, which is build. There could be a bunch of other security steps as well. These are 2 examples of how we can do it with a very static type of check, just CLI command, or we can use another fully managed service like Code Guru to do it as well. Then we have our build step. And in this case, I've built an application using AWS SAM, but this could be any type of application. But what we're doing here is building the code based on the specific commands that are needed. And we're creating a container image that we're pushing into ECR. And ECR is our container registry. And what we can do then as well, when we're pushing stuff there, is that we can activate security scans on that image as well. So once we're pushing it, in this case, this is the latest one. We've pushed it into our container registry where we're storing the image. We're then doing an automated scan on that image as well. And we can see it similarly, we're finding critical errors with that container image.
Yeah,
and that
cool. So,
finding, once again, into Security Hub.
Security Hub. That's where we're ended up in the hub. I mean, it's a good name. So really, security is an end-to-end thing. We want to analyze the code as it comes in, make sure we're no sense in building it if it's insecure out of the gate. So then once we build it, we also want to make sure that the output is secure in the resulting build, so that security is happening all throughout the pipeline. And so this is really cool, Gunnar, but we only have a few minutes left. I want to make sure that you get to everything you want to get to, and then we let folks know where they can go to learn more.
Yeah. So then once we have these checks all in place, and like we said, we're pushing everything to Security Hub. A stage that we could add here as well is one that's actually towards the end, before we're doing that deployment, we could do a check towards Security Hub. What are the findings we have for this entire pipeline? And then that would be something that the approver in the end looks at before they actually approve something to go into production. In this case, we had some critical ones, so it should probably be stopped way before. But having that opportunity to automate that as well using a Lambda function that's called through the pipeline. I think that's an awesome way of doing it. We could even add in some bedrock there and have that generate something that's in perhaps more readable format than just getting those CWE numbers, so you know exactly how to act once you get that notification as well.
Nice. So we can consolidate all of these findings into a singular place, and then there's opportunity to extend this pipeline to make that easier to consume, have some go, no-go decisions. Maybe there's some things that it found, but it's worth the risk. It's not a major thing, but certainly maybe we want to address some of the critical things before we go to production. But very cool. So how do I learn more about building pipelines? How do I learn more about securing pipelines? Where should our audience go to take a next step here?
Yes, so we have some cool resources for you. We'll share the links in the chat where you can look at a security pipeline and resources to actually just deploy one yourself, where you can pick and choose the things you want to use in there. I think that's a great way to get started. Besides that, I think it's a great thing to look at security even at the developer stage. So we've talked previously about QDeveloper as well a lot. I think QDeveloper as a way to help you build more secure code before you push it into production. That's a great way to get started as well.
Yeah, very cool, Gunnar. Hey, well, thanks for coming on and showing us security in code pipeline and building secure pipelines. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your Reinforce. I'll see you around.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Welcome back, everyone, to AWS On Air. Today, we're going to talk all about Supercharge your container security with threat detection. My name is Aaron Hunter. I'm an AWS Training and Certification Principal Developer Advocate, and I'm joined with a couple of my friends, Kim and Alex.
Hey, guys.
Kim.
Well, really happy to be here today, Aaron. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Kimberly Dixon. I'm a worldwide go-to-market lead for our detection and response services. So that includes Amazon Inspector that we're going to be learning about today, but also GuardDuty, Security Hub, Security Lake, and a whole host of other services that we have in AWS.
Yeah. And I'm Alex Waddle. I'm a security specialist SA. I'm based out of the UK, and I work with customers all over the world on helping them improve their security around things like Inspector. So looking forward to the session today.
Awesome. Now, a question for everyone who's watching us live today. Quick question for you. How many of you are currently using Amazon Inspector or ECR, or Elastic Container Registry? Because that is something we're going to demo today and teach all of you.
Yeah.
Kim, can you maybe tell us more about security context and what we're doing today?
Absolutely. So we're going to be talking a lot around what Amazon Inspector has actually released in the last few months around supercharging your container security. And really, it's the way that we're looking at helping our customers with scale as well as visibility when it comes to container security challenges. So when you think about containers, we think about the fact that multiple containers are running applications and microservices, and that you've got to scale across accounts, across regions. And what we've actually done is to help customers put that into context when it comes to being able to look at their vulnerabilities and understanding where they're running. And that also leads to visibility as well. So a lot of issues with looking at customers deploying insecure images or third-party source code that might not be something that security administrators can actually control. So looking at the way that we can actually help our customers with both scale, visibility when it comes to vulnerability management.
Awesome. Now, visibility and vulnerability and all that kind of stuff, there's a lot that happens there behind the scenes. I know Alex is going to do a demo for us. Now, a quick question for Alex. What is the insecure dependencies and code stuff that you're going to show us today?
So what we're going to show is that when you're creating your code and when you're adding multiple packages to your code, that you're including packages that might be your own packages, they might be open source packages, but you don't actually know perhaps the provenance of those packages. So you may actually be introducing code insecurities into your software by having all these dependencies in there, and you just don't get that visibility into it. Now, this is the great thing about Inspector. We actually surface those to you, so then you get that full visibility into that, which is going to be, it's great for customers.
Yeah, and containers tend to be extremely short-lived as well. So it's very hard to actually attribute where the security threats actually live.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for the demo.
I've heard a lot about insecure and making it more secure, and I'm a pretty insecure person, so can it help me?
Well, I mean, it does code security. It doesn't necessarily do human or emotional insecurities. I'm sorry.
Okay, okay. Because we're here at the security conference of Reinforce, I know there's like CVEs. CVEs. What is that? Common
vulnerabilities and exploits. So basically, these are CVEs that MITRE kind of surfaces, and then it's trapped in, it's enlisted in the National Vulnerabilities Database.
Okay.
So I think for you, what you're thinking about is CEVs.
CEV.
Common emotional vulnerabilities, Aaron.
Okay, yes.
Is that it?
Yeah. Yes.
We'll add it onto the roadmap. We'll see what we can do, right?
Okay, awesome. Now, let's go ahead and maybe talk more about the benefits of Inspector and like why we would use that to solve some challenges, what those challenges are.
Yes, so with Amazon Inspector, the way that we've actually thought about our service is really that we want the service to be able to do automated discovery of your resources that you deploy. So anytime that you've got a new EC2 instance that's deployed, a new container image that's deployed, or any Lambda function that's invoked, Amazon Inspector actually goes in and discovers all of your resources that's being deployed. And that's really adding to that visibility that I spoke about earlier. We take in vulnerability intelligence from over 50 threat feeds, so that includes the CISA, for example, the National Vulnerabilities Database, AWS Threat Intelligence, but also enhanced with partner tools such as Recorded Future. And another really strong thing about Amazon Inspector is the fact that you've got a single-click organizational deployment. So if you turn on Amazon Inspector across your organization and you delegate a delegated admin account, the scan configurations that you actually set up is things that your member accounts cannot change, and that's invaluable when it comes to a security administrator. And lastly, it's prioritization. We actually help our customers prioritize by understanding a contextualized risk score, which Alex will show in the demo later, but it's really cool because we understand your context. We use automated reasoning to look at network reachability of your EC2 instance, so it's not just the CVSS scores that you get from the NVD, the National Vulnerabilities Database, but also we look at whether or not there are external paths out to the internet that could then be exploited.
Right.
And that contextual score helps with that prioritization.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, question for all of our friends here. Do you currently face any prioritization challenges? And let us know in the chat so that way we can maybe pull some of those up and answer those questions. I'll be keeping an eye on the chat here. All right, Alex.
Time for the demo.
Time for the demo.
Time for the demo. All right. Let's
Pray
do this.
to the demo, guys.
All I'll say is it worked on my laptop.
Yep. It works on my end.
It works on my end. Okay, so what you can see here is this is my delegated administration account that I've got on screen here. And this, as Kimberly said, this is where we're seeing across my organization, all of my accounts. I can see what's configured in terms of the coverage. I've got 9 accounts in this organization. 100% of those accounts are covered by Inspector, but only 90% of the instances within those accounts are actually covered. All of my container repositories are covered, but I'm only getting 69% of my Lambda functions. And that, from a security perspective, is something that we probably want to dive into. And in the second part of when we demo this in a little bit, you'll see what we can see down in individual accounts. You can see I've got a number of different things around critical findings. I've got findings with exploits available. I can see that I've got 17 findings out of nearly 2,000 findings with public exploits. So that's probably want to be something that I might want to have a look at. I get all this summary here, which is great. And I can go through all of that, and I can see all the different things in my accounts across the whole of my organization. But to enable Inspector across your organization, it's really, really easy. You go into the account management screen here, and I can automatically activate that for all my new member accounts. I can activate it for EC2 scanning, ECR scanning, or the Lambda scanning, and I can do either Lambda standard or Lambda standard with code scanning. These are independently enabled. I can choose which ones I want to do. If I leave it like that, every new account that I spin up will have Inspector automatically enabled. But for the purpose of today, what I've got is I've got an account here where I've got this Unicorn prod account, and you can see that it doesn't have the Lambda scanning enabled.
It's deactivated, yeah.
It's deactivated, right? So in the traditional way of doing these things, I'd have to get access to this account, I'd have to go down into the account, I'd have to figure out how I enable all this. One of the cool things about Inspector, we just go here and we say I want to activate that, and I hit submit. And what will happen, it will happen, it's spinning, it will activate it, and then it takes a few seconds to activate. There you go, it's activated. So I've now activated that in my account. All of the Lambda functions in that account are now actually being scanned for software vulnerabilities, which is really cool.
Yeah. So
Alex, I'm sorry. I'm watching the chat, and someone called us out for no demo dances.
No
apparently we got to dance before we do the demo. All right.
We did the demo god
I
prayer.
did the demo god dance.
Wait, hold on. Let's do the demo dance. Okay. All right.
Is that good enough?
back to the demo dance.
Well, guys.
If my kids
my
could see me
God.
now.
Oh. Join AWS, guys.
Yeah.
God.
He gets to come and dance with us. All right. So this from a security persona is great. I've got full visibility. I can administer all of my information here, which is fantastic. And then I get that centralized view. I can see all of my instances across all of my accounts. So I don't have to go into all my different accounts. I can see my networking services account. I can see my prod account. I can see I've got a Reinforce 2025. That's interesting. I must have a special account I've set up just for
Oh my
today.
gosh, what is this?
Right?
Yeah.
You can see it's running Linux, and we're actively monitoring that. And I can see here I've got things that are stale as well. It's not been able to actually get a software inventory of it. So I've got full visibility across the entirety of my organization. See my container repositories, and we're going to come back to that in a later point.
I see Reinforce 2025 again.
You
there
see
it
Reinforce
is.
2025, yeah, right.
Yeah.
So we've got lots of these things going on here. I've got container images, and you can see I've got lots of container images. So there's a lot of things going on here where what I can do is look at my Lambda functions. I can see which Lambda functions. I've got 100 of them across the whole of my account, all of my accounts. Now, lots of customers will have maybe many thousands of these, and you'll see that you'll have certain number that are scanning and some that are not scanning. And the reason it's not scanning is either that maybe we don't support that operating system yet, or that the scan eligibility has expired because we only will scan if a function has been modified or invoked in the last 90 days. So
I just want to pause and again look at the idea of this coverage, right, and the scale and the visibility that we're running at. These are imagine this is Alex's demo account, but imagine this is your organization. How many thousands of accounts he might be running? How many resources you have deployed, and Spectre just gives you all that in this beautiful
Not just
dashboard.
spanning across all the different accounts, but all the environments within those accounts, and all the different applications. And
all the workloads, every single workload,
all the insecurities.
Oh.
Yeah, emotional or otherwise.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. But one of the interesting things about this, by having this ability to see at this level, I, as a security person, I can decide what is it that I want to prioritize. Do I want to prioritize that I've got critical findings in containers? Do I want to look at particular accounts that I've got the most critical findings? And you can see I don't have any critical findings, which is great, but I do have a prod account that's got nearly 2,000 findings, so maybe that's a particular focus for me. And this is a great thing about Inspector. It gives you all of this visibility that allows you to decide what are the things that I want to prioritize first. Do I want to prioritize based upon the images that I've got in particular accounts? Do I want to prioritize fixing my EC2 instances by maybe patching those? Or do I actually want to go and look at my Lambda functions? And it makes it really easy to be able to actually go in and find out at a really high level, where should I be focusing my efforts? Because security teams are constrained. We need to engage with developers and the application teams to support us getting all of our software vulnerabilities addressed.
Nice. Now, when we're working through these, there's a whole lot of DevOps type stuff that happens behind the scenes. Now, DevOps, it's a lot of moving pieces. You're developing things. It's operations, but there's also DevSecOps, right? So with DevSecOps, I think there's an opportunity for the DevSecOps folks here to take a look at Amazon Inspector and maybe improve your own security posture, improve the insecurities that you have within your application. Maybe you can talk to a therapist about your own insecurities. I may as well. But ultimately what we're looking at here is this idea of having these scans, right? Now with the scans, what are the scan options? Can you tell us more about those?
Yeah. So when you have your enabling of the particular workload, so going back to the account management, you can enable on EC2, ECR, and Lambda. So if we think about EC2, the way that works is we have what's called hybrid scanning, or we have agent-based. And agent-based is the way that we used to do the scanning, where you had to have the SSM agent installed, the software management agent installed, and now we support hybrid scanning, and that allows instances that don't have agents installed to actually be able to then be scanned by the Inspector service. And every time a workload is, an EC2 instance is deployed, Inspector will automatically scan that as it comes up, and then it will scan it on an ongoing basis. So I can enable it here. You can see I've got hybrid mode actually enabled in my account. and I can switch between hybrid and agent-based. The default was agent, now it's hybrid, and that allows you to have full coverage across all your instances, which is super easy to do.
So what does that say there? It says, Inspector will use agent-based scanning for all eligible instances managed by SSM.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And agentless scanning using EBS snapshots for eligible instances that are not managed by SSM. Agentless.
Yeah.
So it's that operationality, right? The fact that we're taking that heavy lifting away from you and helping you actually manage this. And I should note, the different scans, like there's no scan differences or finding differences between hybrid or agent-based scan. It's just a different way of scanning. And obviously, hybrid is default and recommended because, then you can make sure that you're actually having that scan coverage.
Yeah. And it doesn't have any performance impact on the instance as well, which is awesome, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't, it's one of those sort of really just, we made this stuff wicked simple for people. It's one of those, people just, when they enable this, they actually think, is this really working? Is this doing anything?
Yeah.
Because they don't see any uplift in their CPU, which is amazing, right?
Yeah.
Then we look at containers. And in container mode, when you're looking at your Elastic Container Repositories, or ECR, you can choose when you want to rescan. So you can rescan based upon the last time the container image was pulled or the last time it was in use. The default for that is 14 days. But you can choose to change that. So in my environment here, I've got last in use for the last 180 days.
Roughly 6 months-ish.
About 6 months, yeah. And then I could change that to last pull date. Right?
Okay.
And if I wanted to, I could say, well, the last time it was pulled, let's say it was 30 days.
Okay.
Now what happens here, by enabling these things at the delegated administrator account, that gets pushed down across all of my accounts across my organization. So now within all of the accounts underneath that, all the member accounts, I can't make those changes. So it's super important. And the other one is image push date. So if I push an image up to the container repository, I can set that. Again, the default is 14 days, but I've got mine set to 90 days. So 90 days after I push an image, it's going to keep scanning it for that 90 days. So that continuous scanning.
And what's cool about this is like within our console here, if you click on, I think, the info button on the far right-hand side, then that should bring you to a page that says like, oh, content currently not available. That's okay.
Enough for that.
But for most times, it'll actually have a link to some documentation on the page itself, right? So what's cool about that is if we pull up my screen here, then I'll actually show everyone where they can learn more about configuring the Amazon ECR rescan duration that you just showed us. So you said the default is 14 days.
14 days.
And then we have 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 180 days. And let me zoom in so that way everyone can see, because, I got small eyes and this is small text. Let's go ahead and zoom in. So image rescan duration, you just showed us that. We also have image push date duration, and then we have configuring the Amazon ECR rescan duration and the exact steps. So you just showed us, but in case anyone wants to have some documentation, you can actually reference that in the public docs.
Yeah, it's all there. Everything you need is all there. Yep.
Amazing.
I'm actually really excited about the last in use state.
What is this? Yes, tell us more about it.
So Alex is actually going to show you something very cool. And again, goes back to that prioritization aspect that we spoke about earlier.
The rescan duration, so last in use date and last pull date.
No, yep.
So last pull date was
what it used to be. So we had last push date, last pull date, but we've just added last in use date. And what could that actually mean?
And that's also now the default.
That is
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you want me to show you that?
Let's do it.
You want to see it?
I want to see it. Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay. So this is my administrator account, and I'm going to look at my container images. Or I can look at it by container repository, and I've got one here, container repository. I've got a couple of images in here. I don't have any critical findings, but I do have a bunch of these, like Nginx. So if I click on this, and it would tell me where am I deployed, and it says I'm not actually deployed anywhere for that one. Go to this one, I'm not deployed anywhere, because in that particular region, I haven't got my cluster. So let's spin across to a different region.
Okay.
All right.
Untagged. Findings by container image. Got it.
Okay. Now you can see I've got a lot more images here, right? Now look at my container repositories, and all of a sudden I've got 28 critical vulnerabilities. Now I'm really interested in this one because that's a lot of critical vulnerabilities. So let's look at this. It says I've got 4 affected images, but I've actually got 2 WordPress ones, and I've got 2 Nginx. I've got latest, which has got no criticals, so that's a good thing. But I've also got 2 other images. I've got Nginx and WordPress. So let's look at Nginx. I've got 7. I've got this deployed in 10 places. So there's an amazing amount of engineering effort that we've deployed in the background just to make that little link appear.
And so to just pause here, this is basically the new functionality that we've released a few months ago that allows you to map vulnerable images to where your pods and your tasks are actually deployed. So where is that image actually deployed?
Right.
One of the biggest asks from our customers, I think we had so many product feature requests from this, and you know, we just deployed this year, and that really does help our customers in terms of actually prioritizing what to do first. In the past, I think, you know, you'd have to go in and actually describe or list and try and figure out how do we get to that actual image and look at where that's deployed. But now we've done that for you, and it's really, Alex is going to show you in like a second, it's a hyperlink, and it leads you directly to where it is being deployed so you can go do those fixes. So really, really big change, right? If not, in the past, you'd have to do prioritization based on environment, which, you know, looking at the number of severity of findings we had just now, could be very imprecise and not really good for helping our customers prioritize quickly.
Absolutely. So Alex, let's go ahead and take a look at that. Now, Kim mentioned there's a link that you can click. And that's in the console.
It's literally
directly in the console.
Okay, so let's pull the screen up, and then we'll be able to see under. So if you X out of this real quick and show everyone where that was. So right here under deployed ECS tasks, EKS pods. This is what screen are we looking at right now? This is the container image.
By container image.
Okay.
So if I look at my container images, I can see each of these. So what I do is let me just move that over to give us a bit more space. So I have this clickable SHA-256 here.
That's your image.
So that's the image. So I click on that, and what I get through to is I get this summary screen. So nice summary screen that shows me the last in use state. So the last time that we scanned this and we saw that it was in use was June the 16th, which would be, I think, last night. And we last pulled that on June the 14th. And then what I see is I see all the different findings. So the interesting thing here is I've got a lot of findings. I have 7 critical, 33 high, and 24 medium. In past times, we would probably have thought, well, let's figure out, let me get the latest version of curl, and let me stick the new version of curl into this image.
The CVE, not the CE.
Not the CVE, the CEV.
Not the CV. The common vulnerability is exploits, not the common emotional vulnerability.
We're back to this again?
I'm sorry. Now, what you'll see is that we have in these, we've rated these by severity. So we've got criticals, then we've got highs, then we've got mediums. And we are using information, as Kimberly said earlier, to be able to put prioritization around that. We use information from the software vendors, and we use information that we know about that particular vulnerability to then provide additional context.
Can I pause this here for a second and like dive a little bit deeper into these different severities? So if we can pull my screen up, because I want to show everyone how to understand severity levels for your Amazon Inspector findings that Alex is showing us right now. So there's a page that you can link to. I'll make sure that we have a link in the chat. It may not happen right now, but we'll make sure that gets there at some point immediately after our stream here. But software package vulnerability severity, Alex showed us his severities within his image that he deployed. So we saw Nginx and we saw curl and all that, right? But essentially there's informational, low, medium, high, and critical. And you said you had how many critical?
I think I had like 7.
7?
7,
Okay, that's kind of a lot.
For one image, it probably is a fair number.
But you're going to walk us...
It's not like you did it on purpose or anything for the demo.
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not.
It's not like you did it on purpose.
But listen, we completely understand that customers can find themselves in these situations because you're using these public images.
And we can see here there's also code vulnerability severities, network reachability severities, and then that's a lot. This table just keeps scrolling. And then we have additional pages that are related. So Alex, let's jump back over to your demo.
Let's do that. So to switch over my screen. Is it over? All right. Okay, cool. So you can see here, I've got this. I click on this particular image. There we go. And it comes up. There we are, that particular vulnerability. So what I get here is I get a really nice summary at the top, which explains in pretty plain terms what the vulnerability is, and what is something that I should probably be thinking about looking at in terms of the findings itself. Is there a fix available for this? This is really important. We actually can provide information that says, is there a fix available? And it's a vulnerability in the package, but also, is there an exploit available for it? This is incredibly important because this allows me to prioritize based upon, is there a vulnerability that's being exploited right now? And therefore, if there is, I might think about prioritizing that above other vulnerabilities where there might not be a fix and it might not actually being exploited right now. I also see the version that's installed, and I also see the version that I need to move to. So I'm at R0 and I need to move to R6 on this.
and it gives me instructions on what to do. Tells me I should do an APK update and then upgrade curl, and I get information about the
Tells you it does a what kind of update?
It's called an APK update.
APK
update.
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
It's
okay.
a package update for the container.
And upgrade curl. Okay, got it. Okay.
So it tells you to do that, and you think, great, I'm going to do that for every one of these vulnerabilities. No, nobody does that for vulnerabilities.
No. Crazy.
No. So what you do is you pull the latest. You probably pull the most up-to-date image.
Ideally,
you want to get the most up-to-date image.
Yeah.
You take that one, and then you need to be able to go and deploy that.
Yeah.
And that's where the mapped container images really helps, because you now need to know, where am I going to deploy this image?
Right.
I'm going to fix not all of these issues right now, but I'm going to fix a massive number of these images, these issues rather.
Because some of
by
them you might want to
deployment.
do like some more testing to make sure that it's fixing
Yeah.
it, not
Yeah.
creating more vulnerabilities.
Absolutely.
Exactly, exactly. And again, right, it's a critical vulnerability. You know that it's actually in production, so
Yes.
what are you going to do?
Yeah.
That's definitely something you should go first.
So now imagine I was actually down in, say, my workload account. I could go into this, and if I drop down into my workload account, actually, I'll go into, this is me now in my workload account. And imagine I'm now an application developer. I've been told by the security team, look, we've got these vulnerabilities. Now, here I am again. I can see if I went into the right region. I'll get to the right region. So let me do that in the right region. There we
I
go.
think what's also cool about our console here is like that blue banner at the very top. It tells us what might be new.
Yeah.
So let's read that real quick. Amazon Inspector now supports mapping of container images to running containers.
This is
what
exactly
you're
what
showing.
we're seeing.
Yeah, exactly what we're seeing.
That's
so
it.
we're always putting this stuff up at the top to
Up at the
make
top.
sure that customers get to see all the cool things that we're now
amazing.
launching. So I'm now one of the application team. I've been told by the security team, hey, you've got 7 critical vulnerabilities. Can we please get this image up to date? Can we please make sure we've got this deployed elsewhere, out into the right environments with the right image? So now I've got my deployed tasks. I click on this and I can see I've got this deployed on an ECS cluster and I've got it deployed on an EKS cluster. I've got 6 of them running in my ECS cluster, and I don't actually have any running on my EKS cluster. I've got 4 that are stopped. So I probably won't focus on that one. I'll focus on this one here.
Yeah.
And I can click on that, and what this is now going to do is send me directly across into the Elastic Container Service console, where I can see the configuration of this particular task within ECS. So in ECS, you create a task, and you define the task, and you say, what's the container image that I want to run? And what I'll do is I can create a new revision, and when I do that, I go down, and I have the opportunity here to be able to put down latest, and that will be the image that's now the latest image that I want to pull, and I'll then create that. And then what I want to do is I want to now update the ECS service. So I update that ECS service, I pick my ECS cluster, that's my Nginx task that I'm wanting to update, and I then say update.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's like that's doing it for you.
It's now running
It's
through,
running
doing the
it
update
through,
for me.
All of that.
It's really simplifying the entire process.
100%.
So are you saying that this is now ClickOps?
You can do this
Do
in
this
code.
all, yeah.
Okay.
You can do this in code.
It's
So for
also via the API as well. Like the
API.
Inspector API, that's also available. So
Okay.
yeah.
So it's not just ClickOps. You can do it through code. You can hit the
No.
API. So for our DevOps friends out there, don't worry. You can still code this,
Yeah.
and you can make it more efficient. All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So Inspector finding types. Have you walked us through that yet?
So the finding types, let's have a look at the finding types. We have got multiple finding types.
Actually, while we're there,
Yes.
I just also want to note for everyone, right? Because you're probably imagining, how can I enable this feature? And this feature is actually already enabled in your account. We did this completely for you. We
Yeah.
went in, we upgraded Inspector service. This is available for you if you have container images that are currently being deployed somewhere, and you wanted to check if Inspector has it. Like, definitely go look at this, because we deployed this for you across all your accounts, across all your regions, at no additional cost.
Now, Kim, I'm always conscious. I'm a super frugal person. So what is that going to cost me?
No additional cost.
Okay.
Genuinely. Like, we believe that this was a security value for our customers that was a non-negotiable. And so we released this feature because a lot of customers asked for it. And really, we're in the business here of keeping you secure. So, yeah. Proud of our team. Very proud of our team.
Yeah. A lot of cool stuff we've been launching over the last few months. We've
I've
got
seen
more
it.
to come.
Yeah.
We've got more to come in this demo.
In this demo.
In
All
this
right.
actual demo.
Let's go.
All right. Okay.
So we're going to look at the finding types, right?
Yeah.
So we have 400 plus findings. There's these different severities of critical, high, medium, low, informational, and then the different types themselves.
Yeah.
Can you show us what these types are? I see.
So I've got network reachability findings, I've got package vulnerabilities, and I've got code vulnerabilities. So
Okay.
network reachability is where, through our automated reasoning, we've been able to establish a path from the internet to the EC2 instance that's running some software with some software vulnerabilities on it.
Okay.
So if I select that and I hit apply, I get this information that says that I've got a particular instance where I've got port 22, which is SSH, is reachable from an internet gateway. So there's a particular instance, and I've got a security group on that instance that allows port 22 through. That might be okay for me. That might be what I'm okay with. But there's also other ones there, and there are particular ports where there's no particular issue with having maybe those ports on it. But you might have other ports like RDP on 3389, which is potentially a really vulnerable port. So we'll raise that and say that's like a high severity for you. So you can focus on those.
Can you customize this also? So like if you know that you have a port that's more sensitive?
So what you can do is you can create what's called a suppression rule. So if you had a particular one here, I could say I want to suppress that.
Okay.
So I don't want to suppress. I want to suppress that so it doesn't appear anymore.
Yeah.
If on the other hand, a particular port that was very sensitive to me, I don't think I can do that natively in Inspector, but I can use something like Security Hub to actually increase the severity of that finding and aggregate it together into Security Hub. But
Security Hub is powerful because it's almost like the hub of security. Oh, wait, hold on. That's the name. That's in the. It's in the name. Okay.
It's all in the name.
It's all in the name.
We're very
naming.
unsubtle.
Very unsubtle.
We're good at naming.
We're good at naming.
We're good at naming. Let's have a look at the other finding types. So package vulnerabilities, I think you probably saw some of those already.
Yep.
Various packages we've got curl, all the different packages and all the different resources. So Lambda, EC2, operating system packages, and also on the containers. And then the other one that we have is we have the code vulnerabilities. Again, just go to here and do code vulnerabilities. And the code vulnerabilities is where, and this is where the Lambda code scanning really comes in and really shines, because what customers have often found difficult is I create this code, I push my code up into Lambda, and then I don't know, have I got insecure cryptography, have I got log injection issues with that. And when I click on this, I can see I've got a particular path, and if there was a location in that, it would maybe give me the actual, if I look at the SQL injection one, or say path traversal. It's not behaving today. It's not giving me the vulnerability locations.
Oh, no.
No, I know. Don't know why.
Are you in the right account?
Yeah.
It's okay.
That's not good. Something's broken.
Check the hard-coded.
Yeah, they're all
broken.
Yeah, none of them are working.
What?
The demo gods have failed
Wait, we have to
us.
do the dance again.
Do the dance again.
Do the dance again. Quick.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
Let me just check in another location, see if we've got some here. No, it's not giving us any of those. No, it's not giving me any at all. And I don't know why.
It's okay.
That's weird.
That's okay, but we will be dropping a link to the inspector documentation, whereby we actually detail how that works. And if you go search in inspector Lambda code scanning on YouTube or onto our security blogs, we have examples of what that would look like. So hopefully the demo gods behave, and we can at least see an example of what that might look like. But if not, guys, the documentation and security blogs of everything.
And you know what? I actually have a question I'm going to pull up on the screen here for our friends who are watching us live, because we just walked through all these different finding types and everything. So if we can pull my screen up real quick, I have a question for all of our friends. Which of the following, I'll read it here before we get it on the screen. Which of the following Amazon Inspector finding types will help you identify software in your AWS environment that are exposed to common vulnerabilities and exposures, these CVEs, not the CEVs? Is it code? Is it package, or is it network? Now, what's cool about this is you can just go ahead and type 1, 2, or 3 in the chat, and then that'll cast your vote. So you don't have to type code or package or network. You can if you want to, but that's a lot of extra work here. And while you're thinking through this, keep in mind the question is asking you for a finding type that will help you identify software in your AWS environment that are exposed to these CVEs. And if you want to know the answer, it's probably going to be on the screen here pretty soon, but you can take a look at this link, which is the Amazon Inspector finding types. There's package vulnerability, findings, identify software packages in your environment that may be related to that question. There's code vulnerabilities, and there's network reachability. I'm sorry, there is no human insecurities listed. No.
You know what? I think that joke actually was our lucky star, I guess you call it, because guess what? The demo's working.
Yeah, demo's working.
We got to show the answer for the question first.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So the answer for the question, once we get it up on screen here, the correct answer is package. So for those who guessed package, you are correct. And you can read more about code and network on that page I just showed you. Let's go back over to the demo now that's working.
Yeah. Don't ask me what I did.
The dance.
Because I can't tell you. It was the happy dance.
I showed a poll question.
And the joke.
It was a joke.
It was
the
a
dance.
Yeah, it was everything put together.
Everything combined together.
It was Penelope over here.
Yeah. So what you can see, if I'm looking at this Lambda function here, I've deliberately got this insecure Lambda function, and I've intentionally written bad code. Some might say that's just my normal code, but I have actually written intentionally bad code. And what you'll see is that we've actually highlighted the line of the code in this Python function here. It said line 45. And we've recommended a fix, and we've given you links across to various pieces of documentation in MITRE, and when you go across to that, you get all this information. Now, for developers, this is incredibly powerful because it now gives them the context and all the information as to why this is such a problem and why they should actually go fix that. So it's super helpful for them.
And you know what? I don't think it was anything that we did. I'm watching the chat right now, and the chat was doing demo dances.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for that.
They were all over it.
That's
You know what?
solidarity, guys.
Yeah, they're dancing. They got dino dances. You're a dreamer. I like you. I like you, dreamer. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone. So,
thank you,
love
guys.
the enthusiasm.
Thank you for the solidarity. This is hard being here with all these jokes that I have to endure.
Now, we just covered a whole lot of stuff, and we have about 3 minutes left. Where can people go to learn more about Amazon Inspector?
Wait, we have something very cool to show you.
No
really
way.
new.
Okay,
Really,
okay,
we're going to do it really quick. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay, guys.
Let's do it.
We have just released, as of this morning at 9 a.m., Inspector Code Security, which Alex is going to show you. And that allows you to connect to your GitHub and GitLab repos and actually get code remediation fixes and have Amazon Inspector actually provide guardrails to those codes from your third-party repos. We give you SAST, SCA, as well as IAC scanning across CloudFormation, CDK, and Terraform.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All of them. Right.
Yes.
So, super quick. This is code security. I've got code security configured. I've got a GitLab self-managed instance that I'm running myself. Again, being a bad person, I've got lots of insecure things running on it. I've got some code here for a solution called ARIA and this other thing called TerraGoat. We use this a lot to test out insecure Terraform. I've got these connected, and you can see that the scan is inactive because we're running those on a weekly basis, but it's all configured, and I configure it here, and I can look at that and say, what do I want to do? I want to do it on a weekly basis. I want to do it based upon a pull request or a push. So it integrates with developer workflows as they push requests into the GitLab repository. It's being scanned by Inspector for code vulnerabilities, which is awesome. Then we come back and I go to my findings. And this has been running, we enabled this at about 9 a.m. this morning, 9:01.
9:01.
Yeah.
Is that why it says?
Just when it came out.
Well, your account ID should be 901, 901.
I did it 919191.
Yeah.
But what I've got here is I've got information here that says I've got critical vulnerabilities. And what is that all about? Well, it turns out I've got hard-coded credentials, and I've got this Terraform AWS EC2 Terraform file that's actually got an access key and an access key ID hard-coded.
That seems like it might be something you don't want to do.
That's something you definitely don't want to do.
Okay.
And what we say here is that's why we raise this as a critical issue, and we say, appears your code contains a hard-coded secret. Maybe you should actually think about changing that. Maybe you should do something different. Here's another one, SQL injection in another Lambda function. Again, pointing out the line in the code.
Pointing at line 59 of 5,000.
Yeah,
okay.
Of 5,000 and giving you information and saying, go here, go to MITRE, get the information, and go fix it.
It's pretty amazing.
You make that fix in your code, you push that into the repository, and these findings will start to get addressed. So security gets to see it, developers get to work on it. wow, from both sides, it's awesome.
That's very, very powerful because
Really
it's really simplifying the process of like security
Yep.
posture and controls for our customers.
End to end.
Yeah.
End to end.
All right.
Actually, I have the link to the documentation if you want to show it.
We will drop that in just a few moments
We
here
will do
for our
that.
friends, but let's go ahead and pull my screen up. I have 3 resources for you all to learn so that way you can continue jumping in. We have the Amazon Inspector tag within the blog itself, so we can see that. Now you want to go to the AWS blog, check out the security blog, and then you can take a look at this tag for Amazon Inspector. We'll make it easier for you so that way you don't even have to worry about doing this. I'll drop a link in the chat in just a few moments here. We also have within AWS Skill Builder. Of course, I got to talk about it because I'm within the training certification team. We just taught you about Amazon Inspector and a brand new feature of Amazon Inspector to help you with your code security. So Amazon Inspector Getting Started is one that I'll link to you as well. And the next one here is my favorite. It's Amazon EKS Knowledge Badge Readiness Path. A lot of different courses here. You can see there are 12 digital trainings. It's about 9 hours of time. And at the very end, you take the badge assessment, you get a badge. But that's not all. We have a lot more coming to you from AWS OnAir, live at Reinforce 2025 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Thank you, Kim and Alex.
Thank you so much.
Let's get out of here.
All right. We're done.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Build responsible generative AI applications with Amazon Bedrock Guardrails. Guardrails expands content filter policies with multimodal toxicity detection. Guardrails now support safeguarding against toxic image content in addition to text, helping customers manage potentially harmful inputs and model responses in their multimodal generative AI applications. This capability is available for all foundation models supported in Amazon Bedrock that support image content, including fine-tuned FMs.
Come on down and transform your AWS learning in exciting multiplayer trivia competitions with AWS Skill Builder Trivia. Create fun AWS trivia for any event with your Skill Builder account. Setup is quick and easy. Pick from ready-made questions at no cost or upgrade to a subscription to use our AI-powered question generator or add your own questions. As a host, you'll log into Skill Builder to create a trivia session, while participants can join from mobile or desktop devices. Earn points based on speed and accuracy. It's perfect for testing knowledge, finding skills gaps, and making AWS learning fun. AWS Skill Builder Trivia, where learning meets competition. Available now at skillbuilder.aws.
Hey everybody, welcome back to AWS On Air. I'm Todd Fortier, and we are cooking here on the stream, and I am joined by the awesome Jasmine Kyles. Hi, Jasmine.
Hi. Hey, thanks for that intro. Hi, I'm Jasmine Kiles. I'm a manager of product management here at AWS, but we're not here to talk about me today. No. You know what we have on our stage?
Who do we have?
Some more guests. We're so excited to see them, and one of them happens to be really special. We'll let you figure out which one. All right, how are we doing? Who do we have here on the stage?
Hey, I'm Danielle Heberling.
Are you the really special one?
I'm not sure. It's hard sitting next to this guy here.
I'm Gunnar Grosch, developer advocate at AWS, and I'm definitely special, but not in the way I think you're referring to, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so this special that I'm referring to is we have an AWS Hero here with us, and that is Danielle.
Hey, y'all. Yeah, I've been a hero for about 2 years. So, yeah, really enjoying my time at Inforce. And maybe a little bit about me. Should I just say where I work
tell us
and all
what
that?
being a hero means to you and where you work and how you tie it together.
Totally. Man, that's a lot. Okay. Yeah, so being a hero is really awesome. We get to do a lot of really cool stuff within the community. Personal shout out to the Believe in Serverless Discord. Join us, believeinserverless.com/community. So shameless plug there. Yeah, serverless hero. So do a lot of stuff with Lambda in particular. Really loving step functions. Also, since we are at Inforce, I've been really loving AWS organizations and being able to get multi-accounts all in the same place.
Okay,
billing and all that.
So I love origin stories here. Help me understand how you got started on the hero path. What is a hero, and how did you sort of get plugged into that?
Yeah, totally. It actually was not a goal of mine. I worked at this company in the past called Stackery. We were an early platform for serverless. So deploying and developing and delivering serverless applications is the quick pitch. So and essentially, it was some of the early things of what became AWS Application Composer, if you've ever heard of that.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, for those watching who may not know, it's a really great drag and drop interface. If you go into the AWS console, look up application, or no, it's Infrastructure Composer now, sorry. And you can just drag and drop resources onto the canvas, and it will auto-generate an AWS SAM CloudFormation compatible template for you. And then you just hit a button, and you can deploy. So, yeah, I built a lot of that, dealing with just all the intricacies of CloudFormation, some of the changes. Luckily, AWS is very good about communicating with their partners on things like that. But yeah, I think that's kind of where I got into it. At that point, it was like 2017, 18. So a lot of it was like, what is serverless?
Okay.
We were a little bit ahead of that, but we did have to backpedal a lot to educate folks. And that was kind of how I got on, the hero path. Because I wrote a lot of blog posts. A lot of it was actually for future me. Of like, hey, I learned this stuff. I want to remember it, but I'll also make it public just in case it might help one other person. And luckily, I think it ended up helping a lot of people because I ended up getting recognized for it and have given a fair amount of talks and things like that. But
nice. I think Danielle really highlights what AWS heroes are. Because in these few minutes, she's just been spitting out knowledge, and that's really what they're doing. They are just knowledge sharing and helping others get started with AWS and learn more about AWS in many, many, many different ways. So it's a super vibrant community of AWS experts, but they are constantly sharing knowledge in different ways.
And it sounds like in forums, writing blog posts, this is not your first time to the AWS OnAir stage.
Correct.
You did some game day at the most recent reInvent. Gunnar, you were there as well.
I was, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of different ways of interacting in the community. So tell us, what you're working on now. You mentioned like AWS organizations, but probably working on some security things maybe.
Yeah, big into security. I work at a pretty small startup. The 1-year anniversary for it was actually in May.
Wow, that's really new.
Yeah, I know. I joined in December.
Okay.
And whenever I joined, they really needed an AWS expert to kind of come in and, put all their ducks in a row, so to say. Luckily, the team was really great with infrastructure as code, but one part that really needed some love was the governance part of it.
Okay.
Making sure that we had a development account we could deploy into. It's really, my personal opinion is it's really helpful to have multiple AWS accounts because that's lack of a blast radius. So if I am deploying into dev, it should not affect my customers in production. And the best way to do that, in my opinion, is separate AWS accounts governed by AWS organizations. You can also have like CloudTrail, centralized logging, if you want to, make sure that people are doing things responsibly. But the company that I work for, it's a company called Bronson. And what we're doing is we partner with a law firm. We are not a part of the law firm, we're separate. But this law firm does really huge mass class action lawsuits against companies that pollute, specifically with like PFAS, like the forever chemicals, also pharmaceutical negative side effects. They specialize in those types of cases, and they're good at winning cases. But the challenge is then when you're needing to do the intake of all the thousands of people that may be qualified and calculate, how much they're due, because it's different based on the person's situation. So we're working on streamlining a lot of that. We're using a little bit of artificial intelligence.
Of course.
No surprise there.
Yeah.
Responsibly, yeah, because a lot of that can be really good, with document summarization. Like we get these medical forms, like thousands of lines long, and someone in a call center just needs to know, like, hey, did this person have this specific injury? So they're qualified. So like we use artificial intelligence for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, team of 15 people. And I head up their infrastructure.
Yeah, this is very cool. So I think when somebody is new to AWS, this idea of having multiple accounts, I mean, typically you go to a website, you have one account, and that's your account, and you do stuff in it. But here at AWS, we like to encourage having multiple accounts and creating those isolation boundaries. And then, so when you're creating those multiple accounts, is it really hard to do, or what kind of tooling do you rely on to help you do that easily?
Yeah, so what I rely on is Account Factory for Terraform.
Okay.
It's integrated we use GitHub with our GitHub. So once it's all set up, literally all you have to do is put in a separate TF file of I want this new account to be provisioned. You merge it, and then it just automatically does all the things, including you can set governance controls such as I want a billing alarm once this account hits $100. Stuff like that. There's a lot of dials you can turn. We're pretty early stage, and we tend to be more on the trust side of things. So I admittedly have not touched a lot of those dials, but they're there if you need them.
So I imagine you need a massive team to do that.
No, not at all.
Okay. So how big's your team, and how are you guys managing that?
Yeah, so 15 people total. In engineering, I believe we're about 8.
Okay.
So yeah, I handle it all myself. Also trying to share my knowledge with folks, so the bus factor is a real thing.
Yeah.
So.
Where can we find you? Because we've got to wrap. We have so much more coming up, but where can folks go and find you and your blog post?
Yeah, DanielleHeberling.xyz is the best place.
Okay,
so first name, last name.
Yeah. Gunnar, Danielle, thanks for being here. Todd, thanks for co-hosting with me.
Yep.
This has been a fantastic session. I wish we could have more of you, but we have something very exciting coming up next. We've got the keynote right here at AWS reInvent, so make sure you watch that live stream and let us know what you learned, and we'll be back this afternoon.